of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
ASEAN Dailies. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Good morning, everybody, and this is Grace from Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. And you are at ASEAN Dailies, where we deliver news from Southeast Asia. So now the first news is a breaking news where it is coming from Thailand. The country confirms the first MERS case, which is a Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome case, and that's according to Health Ministry, it says. So it was confirmed the first case of this MERS, which was just yesterday, and becoming the fourth Asian country to register the deadly virus this year. And this is according to the health ministry. It seems to be it's worse than SARS a couple of years ago. So Public Health Minister Rajata Naveen told the news conferences that 75-year-old businessman from Oman had tested positive for MERS. So even back to Korea, where it happened that this man from Middle East carried the syndrome and then came to Korea, and that's when how the syndrome was spread. And according to him, from two laboratory tests, they can confirm the MERS virus found. And the first day he came, he was checked for the virus, and the patient contracted the MERS virus indeed. So Thailand is also alarming this case, just like how it is happening in South Korea apparently. And the MERS is caused by this coronavirus from the same family as on the triggered China's deadly 2003 outbreak of severe acute respiratory syndrome. So last month, MERS outbreak was erupted in South Korea and resulting 23 deaths so far, and a total of 165 people have been infected, and 6,700 people are in quarantine at the moment. And all of those infections known to have occurred in South Korea have taken place in healthcare facilities, and 3 hospitals have been at least partially shut, and 2 have been locked down with the patients and also medical staff inside. So earlier, Thailand's Disease Control Department said it was screening the travelers at 67 points of entry. So apparently they're checking 67 ports, including land as well as sea and air. So this is very quite alarming and serious news at the same time, as hopefully all the people in Southeast Asia now we have to be very, very careful. And apparently they also told all the hospitals in Thailand to be on alert, and those who came back from Middle East and South Korea must be checked thoroughly. So now this sort of deadly disease has spread in Southeast Asia, so we all need to also be very careful. So please do wash your hands and also avoid talking to people, and also please clean yourself frequently and or drink a lot of water. So but also at the same time, according to Prime Minister Prayut, he says no more patients in Thailand yet. Well, it is very contradicting news coming from local media that has reported that Thailand has the first case of MERS. However, the Prime Minister and also Public Health Minister says no case have been confirmed. So it is very contradicting and also sort of losing the credibility, and makes people confused which ones to choose. So Prime Minister of Thailand, Prayut told Voice TV that no MERS patient had been diagnosed in Thailand yet, while the public health minister Rajata Rajathanaveen said that the authority was still waiting to confirm the lab results. And just now, the news which was regarding the MERS, that it has been confirmed, we actually now at the point where we really don't know which one to trust, because according to Director General of the Department of Medical Science, Dr. Apichai Mongkol, the first lab result was negative. And the Public Health Ministry will hold this news conference around 1:30 p.m. And then there was only yesterday, and that was reported. But however, it is almost it looks like it could be confirmed later on. So this MERS quite deadly syndrome, hopefully it is it could be a negative, and also at the same doesn't spread any longer and any larger than this. So we'll have a very short break, and when we return, we'll have the political and the current affairs news from Southeast Asia. So stay tuned.
ASEAN Dailies. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Good morning, welcome back to 3N ASEAN. You're with Grace at ASEAN Dailies, where we deliver news from Southeast Asia. Now we are at the segment of discussing and also giving commentary on the political and then current issues in ASEAN region. So apparently, when it comes to Rohingya crisis, it is very difficult, and also it seems that ASEAN cannot stay out of Rohingya crisis. So despite this long traditional of non-interference among member states, ASEAN has been urged to be more involved in addressing concerns about the growing numbers of Rohingya people fleeing Myanmar's Rakhine province. And this is, like it mentioned, it is very long-term issues that has been going on regarding human rights, and that people have been raising questions where is the proper mechanism and policies when it comes to these minority groups in Southeast Asia. And Indonesia has accepted some of these people, Rohingya people in Aceh province for up to about a year. But larger solution is needed to address these root causes of this crisis in order to stem the steady flow of asylum seekers. So these people from Myanmar, and also according to what Tuna M said before, that perhaps Myanmar also should consider strongly towards this minority group in Southeast Asia, because after all, they are all from the country Myanmar. And then where is the government standing at this point? Why is the government being just silent about this? Isn't it the time for us to consider a new approach to the Rohingya, as in ASEAN, the whole community, and at the same time the non-interference principle must change? What happens in the one country will eventually become the problem of the other members countries, as well as this should be discussed, and also the Indonesia should capitalize on its unique positions in the region to effect change as well. So in order for ASEAN to fulfill this promise, as well as to solidify its importance in the region, it must engage not just the elite, but also the whole non-elite, and then move beyond these formal meetings to more social exchange between the ordinary people, to encourage the social cohesion in the region. And without the sense of this community, Rohingya crisis will be very difficult for this ASEAN to address, and also this will be even this will get even worse when this issues is not touched as a whole ASEAN, the whole community. So it is very urgent at the same time to notify the
employment of ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights as well. And according to the Maharim, he mentioned that currently there's no authority of mandate to deal with this Rohingya case, and also giving the commission to the authority and also resources to act would strengthen the ASEAN role in addressing the future humanitarian crisis as well. But the question is, UN High Commissioner on Refugees, Representative Thomas Vargas, and also Happy Center Executive Director Rudy Skanda also spoke about this crisis coming from UN perspective as well. And it was also stressed that the importance of viewing these asylum seekers not as economic migrants but as refugees who are fleeing from persecution in Myanmar, which was why the Commission was involved in the plight from the first place. And on the other hand, this is also very important to gaining the Myanmar's cooperation to internalize this whole issue, the crisis, and allow their other stakeholders to participate in the resolution. But it looks like it seems very difficult to even communicate to Myanmar regarding this issue. Quite a few countries have sent their messages to Myanmar to react upon this crisis. However, there is no response, no news. It's just a silent response from the country. Well, in Eastern countries, it is also quite true that people like to save face. Nobody likes to be embarrassed, and then the people have been embarrassed for so long time. But it may be necessary for other ASEAN member states to come to an agreement on the internalization of Rohingya crisis, and also to present the united decision to the Myanmar government in order to negotiate. So hope that, not just the hope, really urge ASEAN community to come as a whole organization to come up with a resolution to these issues. Moving on to the Brunei. Apparently, Brunei continues the daytime dining ban in restaurants during Ramadan. Brunei is quite well known for having quite a lot of restrictions, and the people also do follow those restrictions as well as the law in Brunei. So Muslim fasting month has begun in Brunei, and also a daytime dining ban in the place for the second year running. So from dawn to dusk, every restaurant in the tiny Southeast Asian nations is forbidden to serve dined customers, regardless of the owners or patrons' religions. And this is the law also applies to any public service that services food or drinks as well, with the exception to medical facilities. So for all non-Muslims here, food and drinks can be packed away to be consumed out of the public eye as well. So at this fall, under legislation rolled out in 2014, part of the strict Islamic penal code in the country, where it is estimated around 66% of the population and also about 420,000 people are Muslim as well. So this is quite not a surprising news, but also to an update from what they have been doing the first year in Brunei, that when it comes to Ramadan, also fasting month, the oldest daytime dining is also banned in the place. And according to the former business owner, who is Jessica, she said, I can just tell you the business is very low, of course, during the fasting month. And they also need to remember in Brunei, there are not so many people, and it's not same as Singapore or Malaysia. So there's no point keeping your business open anyways in the Brunei. And also majority in Brunei accept the Malay Islamic monarchy philosophy. And then it's a Muslim country, of course, so they have to follow. And apparently the people in Brunei, they have no such sort of against opinion. They just do follow the law in Brunei, and they seem to be accepting the law of Brunei as well. And it is also an attitude that many non-Muslims adopt towards the various restrictions that was imposed on them, including the tourist ban on the public displays of non-Muslim festivals such as Christmas and decorations as well. So this is something that we can just keep ourselves updated when it comes to fasting seasons. So let's move on to the next news, which is there is a power struggle in Malaysia, pits former premier against this Protégé. So Malaysia's government party is at war with itself, and also the power struggle, and also destabilizing the country, as well as threatening the party's nearly 6 decades stretch of uninterpreted governance as well. So having lost none of this competitiveness honed during more than 2 decades in power, Dr. Mahathir is pressing the allegations of this sovereignty wealth fund, criticizing the lavish lifestyle of Prime Minister's wife, as well as the Prime Minister's the controlling and also his power. So he said, I've had a quite long time in the government already, and I have learned a few things. And Dr. M said in the interview in his office. And Mr. Najib wants to leave his own legacy. But what he does in the verging on the criminal up to that level, this is very criticizing on Prime Minister Najib, what he has been doing so far. However, we people as a citizen of Malaysia, we all know what's been done and what's been going on in Malaysia. Even though there's no such transparency or direct information coming from the government, people are getting smarter, and also this political combat as well as the tension within the country is just getting worse, and people, 30 million of people in Malaysia, we do feel it. So the latest round took place early this month when Mr. Najib was scheduled to address the public forum on the question of swirling around his leadership. And when he failed to show up, Tun Mahathir took the stage, but he had just begun to speak when the police shut him down, cutting off his microphone and escorting him off the stage. So this kind of incident is just becoming viral, and there's no proper resolution towards the tension, and also perhaps the unnecessary controversial issues such as 1MDB, and also a lot of voices have been heard regarding this GST implementation, as well as the questions regarding budget 2015. So many other issues are just floating without exact answers. So where will this Malaysia, the nation, will go, especially chairing this ASEAN this year? There are lots of hopes. However, hope that we are not just touching on the surfaces, but really touching upon the real issues in Malaysia. So we'll take a short break here. When we return, we'll deliver news on the economic and the business side of Southeast Asia. Stay tuned.
ASEAN Dailies. First and foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hi, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Grace.
And of course, you are with us at our morning show where we bring you news from Southeast Asia at our ASEAN Daily. So, when it comes to economic news, it is something that we want to highlight more on what is happening in this region. I want to start off with the story of two giants, Indonesia's economy in the balance. So apparently Indonesia has found itself positioned between two economic frameworks, facing a choice that could shape the future of the region. And these competing free trade frameworks in the Asia-Pacific region is, of course, the TPP. And on the other hand is the RCEP, have each come under strenuous review by regional powers. It also shows that whichever choices that Indonesia make will show Indonesia's international relations alignment with these superpowers?
And apparently, just to give a little bit of a revision on the RCEP, it was actually formally launched in November 2012 by ASEAN member states along with key regional partners China, Japan, South Korea, India, Australia, and New Zealand. So, like you said before, the RCEP and TPP are the two sort of major agreements that's been going on so far, and that Indonesia has found itself the position between two economic frameworks facing choices that could shape the future of the region. So promoting, on the other hand, promoting TPP without inviting China into negotiation is a pretty a scenario to repress China's influence in the region. And at the same time, when it comes to TPP, it's related to America, where we question where is America really stand at this point.
And what we are seeing now for Indonesian analysts, they are saying that the reason why Indonesia needs to look at TPP, even though TPP has yet to convince Jokowi to be part of it, and also it excluded China, but it's actually a good thing because it's more of a check and balance against the growth of China's influence in the Asia Pacific region through institutions like RCEP and of course the AIIB, saying that the US has strong concerns over the emergence of China as the second largest economy in the world, and this is something that we need to face the reality, and it is something that I think with TPP it somehow creates this cushion against China's increasing power in Southeast Asia.
Well, there is a point there because in fact the ASEAN will be retained under RCEP because it's not only good for Indonesia but it's also good for ASEAN as a whole. It's quite necessary to support this ASEAN economic community that will also take place at the end of 2015.
On the other hand, when it comes to Southeast Asia region, and a lot of people are really looking, not people but countries and companies are looking at Southeast Asian region, is because of the consumer spending. And apparently in 2014, consumer expenditure in this region has hit a US dollar 1.5 trillion. And this is quite a huge sum of money if you look at the market potential of this region.
That's correct. Not only the figure itself, but that it just shows how ASEAN, the whole Southeast Asian, have been spending on the certain things, and even the consumer rate has been increasing. And with awareness of ASEAN economic community in December 2015, it's still hoping, and also it will unite the 10 members of ASEAN into single market and a production base. So with this whole ASEAN into the spotlight, attracting the greater attention from multinationals, which have so far mainly been to China and India. So they will also it will be another attraction points towards the Southeast Asia as well.
It will definitely attract a lot of countries and of course companies to invest in Southeast Asia, especially it is projected that the ASEAN consumer market will be expanding rapidly with a total expenditure forecast to grow by 105% in real terms between 2015 and 2030 to reach up to double the value, which is 3.1 trillion US dollar in terms of consumer expenditure. So it shows that more and more middle class are buying, and perhaps there are more and more middle class population in Southeast Asia. On the other hand, when you want to have more people to spend, that means you have to ease the way to do business in this region. And that is why regional card is being suggested to ease business travel in ASEAN.
And this is called ASEAN BTC, or ASEAN Business Travel Card. It will help the business achieve better savings resulting from all these expedited processes for immigration clearance, and also it's according to ASEAN Business Advisory Council. So This BTC can be modeled to the one used by ASEAN Pacific Economic Cooperation, which allows the cardholders visa-free entry and also hastens the immigration process through the designated sort of premier lanes in the participating countries as well. So this is another benefit point to ASEAN members other than the Malaysia already has the ASEAN lanes, but it will also benefit and ease the business flow as well as the communication in ASEAN region.
So it's going to contribute to an annual time saving of 62,413 hours, which is equivalent to 1.9 million US dollar. And this it seems like the travel card will definitely make people be more loyal to travel around Southeast Asia, not just for the purpose of business, but of course that's the main motive for it. But of course, for layperson like us, if we have such travel card access, I would assume that more people will want to travel around Southeast Asia easily, and they would do that on a frequent basis.
So hope that all these policies will benefit the customers who will enjoy better quality of service and also low fares. So currently such flights are restricted because they can only enforce through the government to government deals. But then hope that with the ASEAN traveling card, not only the business but with all customers will benefit from each other.
So from regional news, let's focus more on country news, and this time we want to focus on Singapore. So a lot of economists are trimming Singapore's 2015 growth. In fact, they are forecasting inflation. Economists have slightly lowered their forecast for Singapore's 2015 growth, and in fact, it seems like Singapore will not do that well by the end of this year.
So this is according to the survey that was studied before. So this GDP to expand 2% this year, but it was down from the 2.8% growth which was expected in March. And also the survey also showed that GDP growth in the second quarter to come at a 2.7 per year on year, down from 2.9% previously. So it looks like the GDP rate is going down a little by little in Singapore, but still the Ministry of Trade and Industry has warned of these significant and uncertainties in Singapore of this downside risks to the external outlook, including the risk of sharp correction in the China's real estate market, as well as the uncertainties over Greece's future in the Eurozone as well.
So there's a lot of external reasons for that is affecting Singapore's GDP, as well as its forecasting inflation by the end of 2015. We'll take one short break. When we return, we'll focus on the socio-economic affairs in Southeast Asia.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Hi, welcome back. This is Grace.
And of course, you're still with us at our Durian ASEAN Daily. And just a bit of a breaking news about the missing ship. It's called Orkim Harmony, and it was found at the sea waters nearby to Cambodia, but with a new name. It's called Kim Harmon.
That's very strange.
It's very strange. If you look at the photo, they rename it, but they forgot to erase the word Port Klang. And that's a big takeaway, like it's a Malaysian ship.
But what does this mean? That basically this Malaysian Navy was hijacked.
There was a hijack.
And then the name is changed after disappearing about a week. And then they appeared with a new name, but still the same ship. But it was easily recognized because of the word Port Klang also.
So in a way, we want to say congratulations to the Navy that found the ship. I think it's important for I guess, Southeast Asia to strengthen its maritime security. If you look at it, pirates are becoming more and more frequent at either human trafficking or hijacking boats and ships. So in a sense that Southeast Asia definitely need to strengthen its security enforcement on the maritime shores.
And although at the same time, those pirates are just literally just floating around all this, especially in the South China Sea. So having strengthening the security is very, very necessary, not only from the Malaysia, but how Indonesia has been doing. Also, perhaps we also need to, other parts of Southeast Asia also need to strengthen their security
Definitely.
as well.
Apparently, like by just this year, and not even the whole year, it's between January to March, Southeast Asia saw 38 pirate attacks, and in fact 70% of the global total of 54 pirate attacks happened in this region, and calling the frequency of regional incidents an increasing cause for concern. So yeah, Southeast Asia, if there's any reason for ASEAN to be relevant in this region, it would be for security for maritime security.
Wow.
So let's move on to our socio-cultural news. Apparently, Samsung phones are at the risk of being hacked. Here is all you need to know. I'm using Samsung phone.
So this is apparently a bit at the risk with all these 600 million Samsung smartphone users, and it looks like it's been affected by the significant security risks on the leading Samsung models, including the Galaxy S6. So this risk comes from the pre-installed keyboard that also allows the attacker to remotely execute code as this system user as well. And then this is pretty vulnerable at the moment, and it is necessary for coming from Samsung company to update sort of the mechanism, and also to warn all those customer, also users of Samsung to when it comes to downloading and updating the application, need to be a bit more careful, because there will be a possible attackers, and also being able to hacked by all these attackers online.
So make sure you don't take any photos or videos that you do not want the public to see, and please do not save it on your phone. On the other hand, talking about social culture, of course, music is one of the key, I would say, uniter for young people across Southeast Asia. And music festival is connecting not just people in Southeast Asia, but outside of Southeast Asia. It's not connecting Vietnamese youth in Czech Republic.
And this is very great news, because the event is also called the Youth in the Banana Village, Hong Rui Lang Choi.
In what?
Banana Village. And it attracted many people, about like 500 individuals, who were treated to the diverse range of performers from hip hop and ballet, and to solo piano and also monochord.
I am so impressed how creative, especially the name Banana Village.
It is very cute.
It's so cute. But the fact that it's all the way in Czech Republic, it shows that Vietnamese youth are all over the world. They are just like Malaysians all over the world. You can find Malaysians and now Vietnamese everywhere.
I hope that all these Southeast Asia festivals will extend not only in Southeast Asia, but also to further to European countries, USA, and all the UK, or every parts of the world, and to be able to bring our identity.
In fact, during the festival itself, a short film titled Mat Gok, or in English is translated as Forgetting Origin, was screened at the opening of the event, reminding young people, especially young Vietnamese, of their homeland and origins. I think we should have a similar theme for Malaysians.
Yeah, perhaps, because it's important, because there are lots of Malaysians out there, out of Malaysia, and also it is perhaps a good point to remind them where they are from and where the origin is.
That's true. And that's all for our news today. This is Arlene signing off.
And this is Grace. Don't forget to visit us at our website at DrianaASEAN.com, as well as we have 4 other social channels: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
And you can always listen to us on the go via your mobile by downloading the TuneIn app and search for Durian ASEAN. That's all. Thank you.